Hey, get back. Come on, over here. Drop. Drop. All right, guys, I think we're live. We're just going to wait for a few people to come in. It's going to be another Q&A session. Literally just a time for you to be able to ask any eBay questions you like, and I'm going to be using a new piece of software in this video as well. It's a bit of a trial of the new software that we've got. Never used it before. We've got two people jumped in. That's fantastic. Thanks for being here. Bit of an impromptu live session. We're going to be doing this for an hour through to lunchtime, 12 o'clock my time. So for the next 60 minutes, if you've got any questions with regards to eBay, feel free to go ahead and shoot them through. We've got a few people commenting away. Look, I've got a question already in here with regards to being a Steelers fan. I wouldn't say that I am a Steelers fan. I'm definitely a Brisbane Lions fan, which is why I wear the Brisbane Lions hat or the Brisbane Bears hat. But I'm an NFL fan. I'm a US sports fan, is what I would say. So yeah, I'm always wearing the sports gear on the videos because I love it all. We've got a few people in here. We've got Nick in here, says, hey mate, hello. Another one as well. Good to see so many coming in. It's just a random hour. I'm not really kind of advertising the fact that I'm going live. It's just whoever's around. We're going to spend the next 60 minutes to go through and answer some questions. But Andrew's in from Canada, which is awesome. Great to be able to connect with you, Andrew. Hope you're doing well. We've got a newbie here as well. Is that a newbie to the channel or is that a newbie to eBay as a whole? Let me know. But nice to see a few people floating through. All you need to do, guys, is just submit a question in the comments box and we'll get this thing started. Basically going to help you guys for the next 60 minutes to brutally answer these eBay questions that you have and try and help you with your own eBay reselling business. So I'm in the comment section as well, so feel free to go ahead and blast some comments and we'll be able to go ahead and get things started. But Nick looks like he's got the first question. How do you make a listing have multiple purchased options like black tie or red tie? Very hard to go through the process here on a live call on how to do that, but that is totally possible to be able to do. I won't go through and explain it. I'll just simply say that you can do it. There'll be some tutorials on YouTube that you can watch that will step you through it step by step. Very, very common thing for people to have replenishable items that have multiple different colors as you're referencing there. So eBay does have that functionality because it's so heavily used. So yeah, jump on YouTube and do a bit of a Google search for that and you'll be able to find the walkthrough to help you out with it. But super useful feature, that's for sure, because there are a lot of people buying multiple different colors, multiple different sizes. You can also add in volume pricing as well. So if they buy more, they get a discount. So some pretty cool advantages to setting it up that way. New to eBay. Okay, that's awesome. That's great to have you on board, and hopefully you're making a few sales to kick things off. Fingers crossed. It's a slow journey when you're first starting out in the sense of just having to learn so much, but it's a worthwhile journey. Once you know what you're having to do, it gets a whole lot easier. I'm going for my first footwear verification with eBay today. Right, that's awesome. So that would have been a sale of a product that would have gone on to sell for over $150. That's the rule with shoes on eBay. They go through a authentication process and it's literally given to somebody in a warehouse that is identifying that product that you've got to sell to that buyer, and they're deeming whether or not it's a legitimate shoe. So fingers crossed, I'm sure it's all going to go nice and smoothly, but any shoes that we sell on eBay over $150, that is what's happening. It needs to go through that process. Promise, hello Promise, very nice to be able to connect with you on a live. And look, I figured 11 o'clock my time here in Australia. We're a day ahead, so it's currently Thursday morning, 11 a.m. I figured there'd be a few Americans that might be jumping on this call here at the moment. So no doubt we've probably got a few from overseas, and Promise is one of them. So I appreciate it, Promise. Nice to be able to connect. We've also got RJ. RJ is in, and he says, what is the turning point where you no longer predominantly sold clothing? The turning point for me has always been around data. So it's just simply been a case of just seeing the fact that they took a lot longer to sell than other categories. That was probably the biggest thing for me. It was just a slower sell-through rate. I also didn't like doing the measurements when it came to clothing. Like I could list a DVD in 2 seconds and it wouldn't be a problem. Where clothing, I had to get the armpit to armpit, the top to bottom, and the sleeve length, and just the whole listing process took a while. And I think a really important thing here is to just be conscious of the amount of time that you spend on certain things. And for me, a slow sell-through rate and also a slow listing time frame, they were just two big red flags for me when it came to clothing. And a lot of other people do clothing and they do it well. I just didn't think it was something that I wanted to continue with. So yeah, jumped out of it. But not to say that you can't sell clothing really well, because a lot of people do. But yeah, 3 sales so far. Well, that is fantastic. 3 sales is brilliant. Really loving the fact on this live that I can put your questions and your comments up on screen here, so everybody following along can see where we're currently at with the discussion. I think that's awesome. Yeah, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock in Texas. There you go. So this is actually quite a good hour to go live for those that I've got following in America. I think my audience is about 30% American. So there are quite a few of you out there that follow the channel and subscribe and watch. And yeah, I figured that maybe I'd get away with a few people being able to be on this live. We're going to go on through till 8 o'clock your time, promise. So for the next 50 minutes. Triple R became a member. Just became a member. Now, what do you mean by member? I'd love to know, Triple R. What do we got here? Thank you. Nearly at 100 listings. Followed your advice and tips selling on eBay. Made 3 sales already. So far, so good. 1 to 2 months off starting. Look, I'm going to absolutely congratulate you for 3 sales, but with the 100 active listings, we have guys in our 12-week program that have got 30 active listings in their store, but they've been able to go on to make, 30, 35 sales within those 30 active listings. So your ratio there of 3 sales for 100 active listings tells me there's a few things that need to be attended to, and I would rather you did that now than build 2 to 3 to 4 to 500 active listings, because eBay's not about building the biggest castle. It's about actually having the smallest store possible, because your items are selling so well. So for me, I would look at those 100 listings and I would really critique 2 things. One is product. Is the product selling on eBay when you do your research? But then 2, if it is selling, I really want you to have a really close look at your price point. Because when it comes to selling on eBay, there's only 2 metrics that matter, and that is your product in demand, and is your product then marketed at the right price? And if you get those 2 things right, you won't have 100 active listings for 3 sales. Look, I'm even starting from scratch on my YouTube channel with a baby fund. Kate obviously being 21 weeks pregnant. We're doing a baby fund series, and I've only got 20 or 34 active listings, but I've already made 29 sales. And that's a brand new store. Yes, I've got the experience behind me, but all I'm doing that you're not doing is I'm looking into the product and I'm also looking into the price. That's as simple as that. So congratulations on the start, but I would love to just be able to spend a bit of time with you to help you through that process, because you don't need to keep listing away. You should be selling with the products that you've already got. Righto. I can totally relate for RJ. Here we go. We've got a new question here. 2nd week of new eBay and made 1 sale. Usually sell Pokemon cards, but wanted to learn more. That's fantastic. Yeah, and look, a similar thing as well, product and price, you at 2 weeks in, depending on how many listings you're putting in, you will be able to accelerate that and get more sales if you're doing it correctly. The beauty of eBay is it really just comes down to what you put into eBay being correct. If it is verified as being a correct listing and a well-positioned price point, the sales start from day 1. That's the coolest thing. Like, if you're doing it correctly from the start, you're getting the sales instantly on eBay. There's no waiting around. It's a really, really cool feature. So yeah, keep at it, and hopefully there's a few more sales to come. This is looking nicer, these numbers here. So we've got 478 listings, and we've got 377 active. That is a much nicer number, because the rule and the ratio that I'm looking at there, it's 1 sale for every 100 active listings. So if I did that, we've got 377, so 478. I would anticipate this store should be getting about 4.78 sales every single day. And if we times it out by 90, I would want the 90-day total to be at 430. And it's at 377. So there's only a 60-odd sale gap there between a really optimized, well-run eBay store. Now, maybe Nick, I don't know, let me know, have you been selling on eBay for less than 90 days? Because that would even improve your situation even further. If you have been selling on eBay though for quite a while, we always work off that 90-day total that you're probably referring to there with the 478 and the, listening, 478 listening, 377 active. tell me which one out of the two there is sold, because if it sounds like you got 377 sold from the looks of it, but you're doing pretty well regardless. That's some good comparative numbers. Vine's Drifting has said, "Hey Matt, have you ever tried untracked post on games, DVDs to make a bit of a profit? I can send them off for about $3.20 and it works for ages." Yeah, look, it definitely works. There's no doubt about it. You can absolutely go untracked and run into the potential issue of having somebody say that they didn't receive it when they did, and then you're having to ultimately give them a refund. For me, it's not so much about that. It's more about the fact that I want to sell a higher average sale price type product, and therefore I'm happy to wear the cost of what is $7.30 for me to do my postage with a tracked medium track post envelope. I'm happy to wear the cost of an additional $4.10 to have a tracking number, because my item is going to definitely be selling for over $20 because I don't list anything under $20, and I am trying to average around a $50 sale price. So for the sake of having a $50 product get into the hands of a buyer with tracking for an extra $4.10, I'm still very profitable on the sale. And even though I'm fully aware you could go untracked, I just don't choose to. If I was selling $10, $15 items and I was trying to sort of nickel and dime my eBay sales, then yeah, sure, I would do that. And you've got also no risk as well of having a return being made on a $15 product. It's just not a big stress. It's just the way that I've set up the way that I do things is trying to get more bang for buck on the items that I'm selling. So a $50 sale price, to have to return that every so often on people trying to scam you out once they see that you've got the stamps, I'm just happy to wear the $4, and I really don't deal with any customer service because I've got that tracking number and they can just go speak to Australia Post to work it out. So it's just my stance, but I know a lot of people that do the stamps and they have a good time with it. They make a bit more money, and that's a great thing too. What was the update there? No, 377 active. Others are out of stock. How many sales though, Nick? If you've got 377 active listings, how many sales do you have over the last 90 days? Let me know and we can have a look at your sell-through rate. We've got another one here. Went to JB Hi-Fi up here in Brisbane. Okay, pretty close by. They were packing up the movie section, and a few seem to be doing this. Yeah, so maybe they're clearing out. Maybe the JB Hi-Fi are getting rid of their DVDs. I mean, I've been in there recently, and their DVD prices are exorbitantly high. I will say that. I was literally like shocked at the fact that you could go on to JB Hi-Fi and see the fact that there was DVDs that were well over the price of what they sell for on eBay. I don't know how they're getting away with it, but maybe they're not selling as much as they thought they would, and it's slowly dying off, and they're going to get rid of it. Could mean some great sale opportunities for us to get in there and throw it onto eBay, so keep paying attention to it. Promise says, I get so nervous about not having tracking. Yeah, absolutely, Promise. I do too. Well, I used to, I should say. I don't so much anymore because I just simply have a tracking number on every single one of my listings. But yeah, this is something that we all need to consider. Do we want to go through the stress of worrying as whether or not an item is going to actually get delivered? Or do we just want to put a tracking number on the item and just be totally content when the item goes on to sell that it's going to reach the buyer? And also too, the backing of the fact that eBay really wants us to have the tracking numbers on every single one of our items. That's what they would ideally like, and I'm a bit of an advocate for just doing whatever eBay wants us to do. That comes with everything with regards to selling on eBay. If they want free postage, I'm going to do free postage, and if they want you to pay for the returns, then I'm going to offer paid returns. So it's all those little things that I think go a long way with the algorithm and getting impressions and page views out to those buyers to be able to pick up additional sales. And I think tracking is just another thing that they can promote and say, hey, buy with confidence. There's a tracking number on this item, and that provides confidence for the buyer, and it provides ease for us as sellers to know that we don't have to stress. So yeah, I'm probably with you, Promise. I'd rather have the tracking number. Another one here, selling preferences. I recently blocked all buyers with more than 2 payment defaults in a 6-month period. Should I be concerned for newly created eBay accounts that have 0 purchase history? No, I don't think you should be, because there are new people coming onto eBay every single day that are genuine buyers that love the thought of being able to buy an item online. They're new to e-commerce, people have got to start at zero whenever they start. That goes for anything in life. So we can't literally brand them as issue accounts because they have zero feedback when they could literally just be making their very first ever purchase on eBay. You know when there's a problem. The problem isn't the zero feedback score next to their name. The problem is when the random message comes through in your inbox from a person with zero feedback. That's when there's a problem. Or the request to make payment off-site. That's the red flag, not the zero feedback. They've literally just started, they've bought your item, and it's going to be their first transaction. Roll with it. Roll with it until it looks weird and looks like there could be something wrong. But chances are there won't be. Okay, that changes everything, Nick. 52 sales. So if you've got 377 active listings, that would be 3.77 sales per day. And if we times it by 90, I would want that 52 sales to actually be 339 sales. And that's the big concern with a lot of us out there. We're not hitting that metric of 1 sale per day for every 100 active listings. And Perry's, hey, do you want to go out? Let him out. There you go. If he has to, I'm the only one home, so if he has to go outside and he cries, I'll be back. But yes, 52 sales, it's a good start, but there needs to be so much more done from an efficiency standpoint of the 300 odd listings that you've got in your store. We need to do a lot of work to get things moving in a better direction. And a lot of that's going to come down to what we've already spoken about, the product and the price. The price is the biggest thing, because the way that you position your price is going to turn over faster versus a higher price that you're waiting out for. The listing becomes plus 60 days listed. You're not ending and selling similar to be able to have that as a refresh listing with a new item number. And then these listings become stale and dormant within your store, and the numbers start to inflate the more that you choose to put into it. This is a very common thing that I see with a lot of stores, and I'm really trying to work on the guys in the eBay Launch Lab, the 12-week program, to hit the ground running with a better ratio of sales, because they're just listing up every single product correctly from the get-go. So they're never getting to a point where they've made 377 listings and have only generated the 52 sales from it. A lot of our guys are listing up 50 items and getting 30 or 40 sales from that. So it's a much even balance of 1 sale per every 100 active listings. And I think if we could all focus on that as a really kind of key metric of success, we would have a much profitable eBay business, or at least much more profitable, than you currently would with the metrics that you're looking at now. Triple R, what's Triple R done here? Thanks so much. Since 2023, I've sold 1,300 items on eBay with a 100% positive feedback. Picked up 75 followers and only 2 returns. Really appreciate the support. Triple R, they are very, very good numbers. No doubt done on a part-time basis there. You're averaging about 600 to 700. Well, that's 3 years, so you might be averaging about 400 odd sales. That's almost a sale a day for 3 years, on averages. A sale a day for 3 years is a very consistent eBay business. So yeah, look, that's fantastic. Was there any lapses over the 3 years? Triple R, did you have a break at any point in time, or has this been consistent for the last 3 years? Would love to know your metrics of the last 90 days. How many active, how many sold? If you could drop that into the comments, we'll have a bit of a chat about that. We've got Vinzi here. 90 days, 130 sales, 70 active listings. Wow, that's impressive. Average sale price of $188. Video games and PC parts, guys. There you go. Talk about high sell-through, high average sale price. These are some very, very good numbers. But we'd like to see if I can cross-promote. I don't think cross-promoting is required here. Is there a way that I can make a coupon to give a discount if they buy a console? Yeah, so the coupons are available if you have a store subscription. So I would get a basic store subscription for $24.95, and then I would throw a coupon on literally every single one of your listings if you wanted to. And you could say 10% off if you use coupon video game 10, and then 10% off is applied by them at the checkout, and you've done really well in picking up a sale that you wouldn't have otherwise, because it's kind of like before the best offer process starts, the coupon kind of just does it immediately for you. So you deal with less best offers because people just take up the 5 or the 10% coupon that you've applied. But you do need to have a store subscription, and I think anybody out there that has sold on eBay and made 100 sales, you know, you're deemed eligible to be able to go ahead and get that store subscription in my eyes. But look, regardless, I don't think sell-through rate is a problem for you, because within 90 days, having 133 sales, you're basically selling your entire store twice every 90 days. So your whole store is selling on average every 45 days. And they are some very, very good numbers when you have an average sale price of $188. So incredible work. It's a $25,000 revenue, I would say, over 90 days based on those numbers. And that is $100,000 a year. So very, very good numbers, and not a lot of work with only 70 active listings to get that 100,000 in revenue. So well done. That's the point that I'm trying to make. They get 10% off a game, or buy a motherboard, get 10% off. Yeah, so you could do the volume type pricing as well. You know, buy multiple, get more, etc. Totally possible to do. I just started watching these reselling videos last month. Okay, awesome. Heard that my car's VHS was worth money, so I put it on eBay and it sold instantly. Quickest $100 I've ever made, and I'm off to a great start. That is fantastic. The opportunity to be able to sell products on eBay is endless. Amazing how many products actually go on to sell, and you know, you can make some fantastic money. What I would encourage you to do is just to really analyze your researching of that price point. It sounds like you did it pretty well with that VHS, but I really get into the weeds of going through the process of highest to lowest price points over the last 90 days. And then if you're just starting out, that sweet spot of the bottom 25%, that's where you're going to get the quickest sale. So for anybody else that doesn't have the numbers that we were just speaking about there with the 90-day, 133 sales, 70 active listings, the only thing that they're doing differently to you is they're getting very analytical with the price point that they choose to list their item up for, and that's causing their item to actually transact versus sitting and becoming dormant like we previously spoke of. Everything else doesn't matter so much. Like, titles definitely do matter. Titles matter because it's like, you got to think about the process of eBay. The first thing you need to do is you need to get an impression. And what is an impression? An impression is when somebody searches on their end on the search bar for the item that you're trying to sell. Now, if you've got an incorrect title, in the sense of trying to match and keyword match what that person's searching for, like if I wanted this iPhone 12 or iPhone 13, say it's an iPhone 12. If I wanted to buy an iPhone 12 and I was selling an iPhone 12, what would be the most important keywords that I would want to have at the front of the title? It would be literally exactly that, iPhone 12, and then all of the other characteristics like the size, 156 gig or whatever the case may be, black, or 3 cameras. I don't know, all the other stuff that isn't as important as that keyword matching needs to be positioned at the front of all of the titles that we create. So titles are really important on eBay. Then from there, you need some great photos. You need to see that your items are brightly lit up and everyone can see exactly what the product is. So, yep, I've been able to click on the listing. Yep, I love the look of the photo and the product. And then the only third determinant to actually get the item to go on to sell is your price point. Everything else in the eBay listing doesn't matter so much. It literally is just nailing those 3 elements of the listing, and then you will win. So take great photos, get some box lights like the ones that I use here. You can get them for about $130 on eBay or Amazon, and then just make sure you're building those great titles, and then you're getting your item found, you're highlighting how great of a product it is, and then they love the price of the item, and you will sell more. It's such a simple game when you start to see it that way. We got another one here. Yep, awesome. Cheesy's in. Hello, Cheesy. Need to go back and catch up. Hopefully all is well. Did a deal with Cheesy yesterday. Came into the garage and he delivered. I don't know if I can show you guys all of this, all of that there. A bunch of action figures. So Kate is going to be the one that's going to be listing those up over the next little period. But really, really good deal. Paid $500 odd, and should be about $1,500 odd worth of resale value. So hopefully about $500 bucks in profit. But thanks for the deal, Cheesy. That was awesome. I have a featured store. Okay, so what I mean is a coupon on if they can buy a console and then get 10% off a game. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you. I've never actually done that, never set anything up for that to happen. If anybody knows if you can do that in the comments, obviously let this person know. But yeah, I don't think you can kind of sweep through the store and buy multiple listings and then get a discount applied. I don't know if they do that. It's more just within the listing. that volume pricing, or just a standard coupon on everything. So I think even if you were to set up a coupon, then just your cart, anything in the cart would get 10% off. So yeah, have a bit of a play around with the coupons and see what it's allowing you to do. All right, we've got Deluxe Minds. Love your videos. Also, Aussie here, started mid-year in 2024 for 6 months, took a year off due to life stuff, and then started up again in December 2025. Again, at the moment, I've got 170 active and 80 sold. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. But again, what are our key metrics here? We want to be getting 1.7 sales per day with your store. That is the number. I would want to see 153 sales next to this account, and you've got 80. So you're about half of where you could be. The potential for your store is to literally be able to double the amount of sales with the listings that you've already got in your store. It's pretty crazy to think, right? Like the speed at which you can sell your items is able to be sped up to double the speed at the same size of store. So, there are ways that we can help you in getting that to speed up. But like I've said a lot on this channel so far, product and price. Make sure you've got a great product. Get rid of the products that aren't great and change the prices of the ones that are great to something a little bit more competitive. And you will get more sales. Simple as that. No worries. Kind words can be delivered when there are kind words that are meant to be given out, and your numbers are fantastic. So I can't celebrate you more. How do you juggle multiple stores? You log out and you log in, and then you log out and then you log back in. And it's a little bit frustrating to do because you can't just toggle between 2 different stores. So look, for me, I will say that what I have done is I've dropped my average listing value per day. I know when I do listings, for anybody that's new and maybe have not watched the channel and my strategy, I list up a dollar value per day. I don't list up an individual item number per day. So the 5, the 10, the 15, I don't do that because I think that's pointless. I think the way to win on eBay is to think about it like from eBay's perspective. They are a business themselves, and they make $1. They make 15% off every dollar that you sell. Okay, so they don't care if we list $100 worth of product and it's one product versus listing up 10 $10 products to make $100. That's still both situations of $100 each worth of value going into the system. They don't penalize you, eBay, for putting in one $100 listing. At the end of the day, both of those situations worth of work, it results in $15 for eBay. 15% of $100 is $15. So that's how much money they're going to make when those 10 $10 products sell and that one $100 product goes on to sell. So who's had to work 10 times harder? Me listing up one $100 product, or that person listing up 10 $10 products? Like, from a time perspective, it's taken so much more time to list up 10 $10 products to get the same result as me just listing up one $100 product and it's selling. So that's the mentality behind why I list up dollar value per day. And then from the dollar value per day, what I'm doing is I'm listing up $400 per day. Now, I have pretty much listed between $400 to $500 per day for the last 4 years straight, and my revenue has only fluctuated between $5,000 to $10,000 a year. We do between $120 and $130, $10,000 to $11,000 per month, because we list up on average $400 to $500 every single day for 206 weeks consecutively, or 208 weeks. We just haven't stopped for 208 weeks. The last 4 years, 6-figure eBay seller. We had that number that we put into the system of 450. Now, that could be one $450 product, and that whole day of listing is done. So we're so much more efficient with our time because we're not having to list up 28 products to get to $450. We're just listing up one banger and we're done for the day. We're drafting up for the next day. So juggling multiple stores, all of that chat was to get to the point of when I started the second store, I made my philosophy that I was to list $100 into that baby store. Now, I do believe that we can get, before the baby's born, $5,000 worth of profit by listing up just $100 a day. It doesn't take me any amount of time to do. What takes me time to do is educate it into a YouTube video that can then get it across to you guys to watch. But actually doing the $100 per day strategy, it's a real true side hustle sort of a workload. You could do that with a 9-to-5 job. But then the second store, the main store I should say, I don't want I don't want to overwork myself just because I've started this new YouTube series and we're trying to make the $5,000 clean in that baby fund. I've just dropped the numbers ever so slightly in the main store. So rather than attacking 120,000 this year, we're going to do $300 per day, and that's going to get us $100,000 instead of 120,000. But that extra 20,000 is going to be well and truly made up with the baby store. So when you add the two numbers together, we're still going to do about 130,000 yet again, because we're just doing 300 and 100, which is still $400 going into the stores on a daily basis. So it's the exact same workflow and the exact same output. We're just splitting it across two different stores, so I can just educate through a YouTube series and then just put it through the main store for what is going to be hopefully, not hopefully, I know it's going to be, because it's literally clockwork, 100,000 in that main store. So that'll be exciting. And that hopefully answers how I juggle it, which is really important. I wouldn't recommend anybody have multiple stores either. I'm only doing this for YouTube, truthfully. Just to show you the separation of finances, because when I show you $10,000 a month and we're going to pull out a couple of $100 to pay for some baby gear, that doesn't really translate for you guys as a viewer. But if you can tangibly see, oh, he's literally just started 3 weeks ago and he's made $600, I think that's a little bit more educational. So that's why I started the second store, but I wouldn't recommend anybody else. Bernie. Hello, Bernie. Thanks for being here on the live. 163 sales, 300 active listings. It's not too bad. Clothing, moving from clothing to shoes. I would get away from clothing and shoes, Bernie. Not to say remove it completely. I did remove it completely over the 6 years that I've been doing this, because I didn't find it to be the best of product. Experiment with other products. Put it into the mix of just selling 5 to 6 different types of product. And just see if you can get any better conversion with some of those other categories out there. But 300 active listings, I would want you to be getting 3 sales per day. So we times 3 by 90, and that's 270. So you're at 163, and we need to be at 270. So that tells me there is some work to be done, and that might mean jumping into a few different categories. So have a bit of a look around, experiment with other products, throw them up into the store, see how they compare to the shoes and the clothes, and you may start to see that you pivot a little bit into some other categories. But still, I've got to congratulate you. 163 sales in 90 days. You're almost doing 2 sales every single day, which is some fantastic numbers. Does it really make a difference sponsoring posts? If you search for Simpsons DVD, shouldn't I see this at the top? Why does sponsoring an item help? Aussie Comic Dude, it literally is everything. Unfortunately, it is everything when it comes to selling on eBay. What you're referring to there is actually promoted listings. So there are 2 different worlds with an eBay listing. You have the world of promotion, and then you have the world of organic. And what you're referring to there is, if I search for the Simpsons DVDs, shouldn't I see it at the top? You will see it at the top, but you're not necessarily going to see it at the absolute top, because there are so many other sellers trying to sell that DVD. Now, when we do the pricing and we try and place ourselves in a really competitive bottom 25% of price points, that's a huge advantage, because organically, you're going to position yourself at the higher end of the search bar. You're going to get more clicks, you're going to get more interest, and ultimately more sales. That's why price is just so damn important. But when it comes to sponsored guarantees top position placing for maybe 20 to 30 minutes a day. Or if you promote a little more, it could be 1 to 2 to 3 hours per day. Guaranteed top spot, a ton of clicks, and obviously a ton of sales. Now, the more percentage that you give to the promoted listings, the more guarantee that you're going to get top spot. Now, when you're new, you're not doing things correctly, and you're putting in price points that are way too high to begin with, which is what we all do. We shoot for the stars. It causes us to sit very, very low in the search results, and we don't get as many views, we don't get as many sales, and then we leave our listings for 60 to 90 days, and the item literally just dies. But we have no idea the item has died, and we continue to list up with that same strategy and mentality, and we blow ourselves up into having 4 to 5 to 600 active listings, but we've got hardly any sales to show for it. And that's why I talk about the positioning of the price from day one. When you first list that item live, eBay's going to give you a really nice top spot, because you've got a nice, great price point, and customers do search for the most cheapest possible product that is still the product that they're looking for. So it's a huge advantage to get it right from the very, very beginning. But you can absolutely guarantee yourself the opportunity to make a sale if you put some promotion on that listing as well. Now, there's no guarantee as well, Aussie Comic Dude, that is going to sell via the promoted listing, because there are two different ways that somebody can click on your product. It could be via the sponsored, or it could be via the organic. And when you sell the item, you can actually see on eBay, oh, it actually sold via organic. So I got my pricing correct, they found my item organically, and then I didn't have to pay the extra fees. But when you look at even my data, and I've been doing eBay for 6 years, 80% of my sales come from promoted listings with 3% worth of additional promotion. So that's why I say you can kind of wear yourself an absolute cost of 15% in eBay fees, because you're giving that extra 3% worth of promoted. So super, super important. But I recommend that if you're new, 8%, which sounds like a lot, but we just want to get to 100 sales. And if you're experienced, I think 3 to 4% is all you need. Oh, this one's a tough one. I'm a below average seller right now. How to dig myself out? It's going to be an absolute slog. Unfortunately. What you've got to do is you've got to forego profit. Ultimately, you've got to put price points out there at such a low rate that what you're trying to do is get some nice, potentially positive feedback next to your name, and just simply transactions that facilitate. I don't know where you've fallen below average. I don't know what it was, but if you go into your seller performance, you can have a look at your seller level and just see where it broke down. So this could be late shipment rate. This could be items closed without seller resolution. This could be transaction defect rate. These are the areas that eBay are giving you this below standard. So you've got to find out which one it is that caused you to go below standard, and then just literally get as many sales as you can, forego profit, until you can become at least above standard. And then from there, obviously get back to top rated, because the top rated is where things hum along. Even below, just standard, above average or whatever it is, that doesn't do as well as being top rated. So you really, really want to get to top rated. But yeah, sorry to hear. That's a tough situation to be in. Do you do store reviews? I do store reviews. I've done a couple of videos that you can go and check out on the channel, and I might even do another one. I might even put a wait list out to get some links to go on a YouTube video series and just start critiquing some stores. But yeah, I actually get a real kick out of it, because I'm a numbers guy. So if I can see your back-end Seller Hub analytics, I can unpack your entire eBay store and really tell you what you need to be focusing on, and at least highlight the areas for you to be able to see what areas that you need to be focusing on. So it's not so much about doing a reflection of your actual storefront that customers see. If I'm doing a review with you, what I want to be doing is back-end numbers. I want to be seeing your Seller Hub analytics and really kind of unpacking that. So from a store review perspective, that's what I would be I'd be honing in on if I was to do a store review. Volume pricing stacks with coupon discount. Yep. What up, Matt? Bro, I found 41 VCR and VCR DVD combos for $350 on Facebook. Wow. Already tested them all. About 75% of them are working, which is great. They were also resellers, but guess they didn't want to list them. How could you not want to list them? My God, I hope you're getting them up nice and quick, mate, because they are going to be a lot of profit. You got to think, like, if you're buying 41 of them, that means you're buying them for like $9. So your cost of good is $9, and on average, you're going to say at least sell them for $100 on average. So that's like $4,000 worth of value that you've picked up for $350. Like, that is a serious buy on a product that you know is going to sell really well. I think does it really make a difference? Oh, we did that one. Triple R. Last year I listed every few weeks, but now I'm back in full swing with 671 active and 64 sold. So is that true? Triple R, 64 sold in the last 90, or is there a little bit more than that? Because I'd want you selling at 6 items per day, which would be about 540 odd sales. So is that 640 that you were wanting to say, or is it actually only 64? Let me know. Brett Potter. Hello, Brett. Thank you for being on this, mate. I really do appreciate everybody jumping on these lives, because we didn't even advertise. We've got 57 in here, which is brilliant. And we're going to be on here for another 20 minutes. So get all the questions into the comments, guys, and we'll pop them up and answer them for you. But Brett has said, "G'day, Matt. I recently started a store 3 days ago and started listing 2 days ago, and I've already had 3 sales with over $240 in sales already." Even including an international, which a lot of people don't do when they first start out. They don't actually do international selling. So the fact that you've chosen to turn that on and just got into the weeds of selling on eBay internationally, I think that's brilliant. So well done. Congratulations. 3 sales and even a $240 sales in dollars is a nice and high average sale price. So not surprised that you've started. You've clearly got your pricing right. A high average sale price always transacts well. You got yourself some sales. So very exciting times ahead, Brett. You've got a big year ahead, and keep in touch, because I want to see a bunch of sales coming through for you for the remainder of this year. From one Matt to another, thanks for the great content, mate. Best wishes from Perth. Amazing to have you on from Perth. I think it's about 9:47 in the morning, so hopefully you're not dodging work to be on this call. I figured there'd be a few Americans on this call today, so appreciate it. I really do appreciate everybody that watches the channel and tunes into the videos. It does mean a lot, and it literally promotes me to want to make another video. The fact that you guys tune in, so cannot thank you enough. Thanks for the tips. Yeah, I really need to go have a look. I got things sitting in there from 2024. So I made a video yesterday, guys, which gives you a bunch of different features that you can utilize on your eBay store. So just eBay Seller Hub features that are there and in your face that we just don't use and we don't come across and get into the weeds of using. So go and watch that video. It's going to be very educational to accelerate your sales, and I think you'll get a lot out of it. But yeah, the end and the sell similar. Assess those items that aren't worth selling, get them out the door. They don't need to be on eBay if they aren't positioned to sell. So get really, really fine-tuned. It's not about throwing items into the system and building up the biggest castle. It's about refining it and only putting in the right product at the right price and getting a nice, consistent turnover of sales. So yeah, good stuff. Is it good to start selling with cheap stuff? No, oh no, the library. I'm so glad you've said this, because everybody here needs to know this. You know, this is such a mentality of somebody that's just first starting out. Just to get the experience and positive feedback built up. Yes, if you were very inexperienced and very nervous and very unsure, and the low risk opportunity of, but to me, if you sell these cheap items, they're probably not going to sell. I don't know, the way that I would do it is we've got this 12-week program, and I tell people, get your best listings up first. On launch day, what are your best 20 listings? Put them live on launch day and get your first 5 sales under your belt, because they're just such great product. Putting up the cheap stuff because you're tentative, scared money doesn't make money. So that's the approach that you're probably going with there. You'd oh, I'm just unsure, but that's going to lead to your frustration and your ultimate end of not continuing to sell on eBay by doing that. Even if you lose $50 on, I don't even know how you could get a sale to go so wrong that you lose $50, but you know, just I would go against what you're saying here, and I would just list up some bangers and get so confident and excited about the fact that you could sell on eBay by listing up your best products to begin with. That would be my advice. Do you ever have a maximum limit for things to sell, i.e. if something doesn't sell after 7 to 9 months, my goodness, even after ending the item and trying to reset the algorithm, and what do you do with the item after? Yeah, look, I've got a very, very tight ship run with my listing length of time being only 60 days. And my sell-through rate on my store is about 500 active and about almost 500 sold. So what that means is my entire store sells every 90 days, every 3 months, my entire store gone. Obviously, give or take a few items that don't hit that average. But they aren't sitting around for 7 to 9 months, close to a year, because no product should ever sit on for that length of time, because it should never have been listed if it had that runway of sellability. If it has that long tail, you know, this could take forever to sell because there's no sales history, or there's 20 active listings, no sales, and all of these items have sat around forever. I'm just not listing the item up to begin with. I'm only trying to list up items that have got proven track record of history of sale, And then when it goes onto eBay, I know that I can expect X length of time for it to sell. Like, I'm very, very aware of every single listing of how it's going to go before I even list it up. And I think a lot of us have no idea of how it's going to go when we list it up, because we don't even potentially do the thorough research, and we don't even check to see sell-through rate. We just literally put it up because YouTubers say to list 5 items a day. So we just blindly list 5 items a day and everything breaks down. So yeah, Mark, I don't know, never been in that position to have 7 or 9 months worth of deliberation on a product, but I would dare say that if you're at 7 or 9 months worth of products that are still in your store and they aren't selling, and you're trying, put them on Facebook Marketplace and sell them off cheap, and then take it down as a lesson that they aren't going to be products that you choose to sell, moving forward. Product and price, guys. Should get another tattoo that just says product and price, because it's the thing that has allowed me to still be here after 6 years. You can maybe run a coupon discount for anything in your store over, say, 150 days. That's a cool idea. Yep, that's a cool idea. I have about 60 car magazines. When listing, would it be better for several lots at a smaller price, or a single lot for a higher price with higher shipping? I would do one big lot, personally. I would just do one big lot. If they're the same car magazine that you're referring to, if you've got 60 of the same type of car magazine, not just a different range, if you've got a different range of different titles of magazine, I would break them up into their individual titles. But if I have, say, 60 of, say, Wheels car magazine, then I would just simply list up 60 Wheels car magazines with one shipping cost. And there'll be some comps on eBay to give you a rough guide on what they sell for individually. Always lower that price because you're doing it in bulk, and make sure you've got enough profit when you take into consideration how much it'll cost to ship off. Find Australia Post confusing at times. When do you use pattern mailers compared to your own packaging with weight and dimensions? I use business and currently in zone 2. There is a code that I can give you, and it is $, retail with a capital R, RETAIL, $B, capital B, 311. Now, if you put that in on your Australia Post My Post business, in the promo code section, you'll get a band 3 instantly, and it'll be valid for 12 weeks. So first things first, go and do that. Give yourself 12, and anybody else in here that isn't on the band 3 Australia Post discount, this is up to 30% worth of savings. I know there's probably a lot of Americans on this channel watching this right now, but for any of us Aussies that are in here on this live, definitely go ahead and do that because you'll get a big saving. But when it comes to my own packaging, it's really when I use these boxes that you can just see in the screen here. When I use a box, it's obviously weight and dimensions, but I've got, oh God, I don't even know where I'm looking. Oh God, those right there. There we go. All of those are Australia Post pattern mailers, and they're preset to small, medium, extra large, large, you name it, and the prices are associated. So as soon as it's a big DVD box set, I've got a few that I've got to ship off right now, like that one there. That's going to be able to go on to sell in a medium or a small pattern mailer for about $9 on my band 5 discount. So, every product is going to be different. This one here has gone on to sell, just a PlayStation 4 game. I'm going to put that into a medium track post envelope. This will go into a small pattern mailer on the shelf behind me here, because it will just simply slide in. It's not too big. So anything that's huge goes into a box, and then that has a dimension of weight and size, and you pay accordingly. But go and get yourself some pattern mailers from Australia Post and try and get as much of your product into those as you possibly can. Cheesy, what have you got to say, mate? You're saying, speaking of algorithms, I heard listing on a daily basis helps. Is there a quantity per day, or would one per day do the same? Cheesy, I will get you to reflect back on the live stream here when it gets uploaded after this live, because we've just gone into all of that. I spoke earlier about the fact that you need to be listing up a dollar value per day, not a units of quantity per day. And you do need to be consistent through the use of a draft bank is the way that I would be consistent. I would build up a big draft bank, pick a dollar amount that you want to list live per day, and then go into your draft bank every day and put that amount live. Simple as that. You'll get crazy sales if you do that. I have 16 sales since December last year. So we're talking about 3 months, 16 sales. So it's about 90 days for 16 sales. I sell only men's clothes, shoes, and accessories. I have about 450 in sales the past 3 months. Mikey, how much are you listing per day? Are we consistent? Are we having gaps between our listings each day? Like, talk to me, because it sounds like there's some gaps. 90 days, 16 sales. I would want you to be getting closer to 90 sales over the last 3 months. 1 sale per day. Curious to know how many active listings you've got in your store though, and how much you're being consistent. You don't need to be consistent in listing literally every single day. You just need to have an hour of power where you list up 10 items on a Sunday afternoon, and then between Monday and Friday of the following week, you just pluck an item out of your draft bank and put it live, and it's a 2-second job while you're working your 9 to 5. And then you just have to worry about what's shipping and what new stock you've got coming in to fill up the draft bank when you choose to have your hour of power listing session again. We overcomplicate it. It really doesn't need to be an everyday thing. Matt, please create a Discord for your community here. Hey guys, you got 65 people live here. Can I get you all to go to my community on Facebook? We have a Facebook group and it's called Flipped It. So if you search Flipped It on Facebook groups, there is a community in there that I am working on every single day and getting posts to you guys of things that have gone on to sell, tips and advice. You can connect with every other seller that's in there. We're almost at 200 people in that Facebook group. So I really, really encourage all of you, literally every single one of you that is on this call right now, to go to the Facebook group and just simply type in Flipped It, and you will immediately have access, and it is totally free. Totally free, and a great way to have community through Facebook. But announcements and broadcasts and all of that. I know that Discord is the main place for that sort of interaction, but we're choosing Facebook to be the place to do it. So head on over. What are your thoughts on promoted listings? We have spoken a little bit about it, Mark. Even after their new policy, so look, I think if you're brand new, less than 100 sales, promote at 8% on every single one of your listings until you become top rated. And then when you are a top rated, over 100 sales, you only need to be selling at about a 3 to 5% promoted listing. Now, if you've got a really in-demand product that everybody wants, you don't need to promote it. But if you've got the bread and butter stuff that we're all trying to list and sell, I think 3 to 5% as a proven top-rated seller is the perfect number for you to get crazy sales on eBay. Nick is top-rated, fantastic. You should do live store reviews. Matty, I reckon I will. What I'll do is I'll put a call out, and then I'll see how I can invite somebody onto the live session, and then literally do a live with that person, and everybody else can kind of be watching in. So if any of you guys want to do that and have me critique your store on a live like you're watching right now, and you're happy to be on camera, I can bring you into that whole dynamic with this software that I'm using. I can do a live critique if you guys want to see that. I'll just work out how to do it and invite you in and get things started. We could even do 2 or 3 in a live session, 20 minutes each. That could be fun. I have a very big DVD collection in storage that I no longer need, though most are just DVDs of all titles. Somehow people can sell them for $5 free post. Facebook Marketplace, for anything that doesn't sell for upwards of $20, literally sell them for 50 cents on Facebook Marketplace. Anything over $20, and typically what you're wanting to find is these sorts of complete series DVD sets. It's your box sets in the DVD space that goes on to sell. Any individual sort of movies, they don't sell for anything more than what you're saying there, about $5, $6. And that's just not the game that I play, and it's not the game that I want to educate any of you guys to play either. So go through that collection, comp up like crazy, find the $20 pluses, list those on eBay, 50 cents on Facebook for the rest. We've got a few more here. I've got a super chat. Wow, Flipgoat, I didn't realise, mate. I apologise. That is very, very kind of you. $7.99. You don't need to be doing this, mate. Hey, bro, have you had a look at eBay Live? Any thoughts? Great question, Matty. eBay Live, I have, and I've actually requested with eBay if I can jump in there and do it. because I don't have access right now. I don't think any of us can literally just jump on and start selling on eBay Live, because I think they're still in like a beta testing mode here in Australia. So I've reached out to them and asked them if I could jump on and actually just start doing some lives. But with Depop now jumping on board eBay buying Depop, I think that's a younger audience that's going to be more native to the live selling marketplace. So their push into live selling, I can see it being a competition with Whatnot. Because Whatnot are doing so well at the moment, and eBay have looked at that and gone, right, we need to really up our game and bring out eBay Live nice and hard. And I think the Depop acquisition is going to really, really help with the push for live selling. So if anybody else anywhere around the world has the opportunity to be able to live sell, then I would really, really encourage you guys to do so, because I think it's only going to be something that grows over the next 5 to 10 years. And I think if you are already selling now, it's going to be a huge advantage to get ahead of the rest that are going to no doubt come on board over the next few years. So, yeah, Matty, really appreciate the super chat. That is incredibly kind of you. Who else have we got in here? I've got someone from Vancouver, Canada. Funnily enough, I actually lived in Vancouver. Yeah, I lived in Vancouver for about 9 months. Is it worth sending offers regularly? Absolutely it is. I send them like wildfire. The second it comes in, the second I'm sending out an offer. I just cannot help myself. Here we go. Hey Matt, my eBay is currently doing $99,000 over 90 days. Jake, we don't see this a lot. 3,100 active and 746 sold over 90 days. I'm in the collectibles niche with mainly video games and Pokemon. I work full time and this is my side hustle. Incredible numbers. You know, that's a $400,000 per year seller right there on this live call. That's huge. However, is there opportunity to become $600,000 worth of revenue? I think you've got huge potential, Jake, because you're not selling through at what you could be selling through. Believe it or not, even though you've got 100,000 over the last 90 days, that could be 150 to 200,000 if you sped up your total quantity sold over the last 90 days. And I would literally want you to be selling 31 sales per day. Yeah. So I'd actually want you, I know it's a big number, but I want you to be at 2790 sold over 90 days. Can you imagine what that would do to your revenue? So it doesn't matter how big you are, that sell-through rate of 1 sale for every 100 active listings is still the sign of an efficient store, and you've got 3,100 active, so there is some work still to be done, as good as your numbers are, to improve your situation. But well done. That's no mean feat. For me, with lots of storage, I'm okay having some small long tail. Just had a CD sold today, been up for a year, made $24.95 for a free item. Awesome stuff. That's brilliant. Yeah, and look, having the storage as well, that's obviously a big help. If you've got the space to be able to hold on to these things, then that is brilliant. I just think some tweaks to the store, some changes to the strategy, could potentially, for a lot of us, get that sale to sell within 6 months to 3 months rather than waiting it out for a year. I think there's always opportunity to speed up sell-through rate, but that's great. That's an awesome sale. Unless they're vintage magazines in good condition, not sure what that's referring to. What has been your best sale ever? I remember those dolls that you got that were going for hundreds. Mine was a vintage sealed 90s Star Wars video game, 10 into $1,000. I was at a garage sale in Toowoomba. I drove 2.5 hours north about 2 to 3 years ago, and it was from somebody that was watching the channel, and they said that they had a bunch of their ex-husband's items that they wanted to off-sell to me. And I obviously drove up there and went through a tub of PlayStation 2 games, and there was a video game in there that was worth $1,000. And I didn't know it at the time. I'd bought all of the items for like $250, and I'd never seen this game. I'd brought it home. I looked into it, and it was one of the rarest PlayStation 2 games you'll ever come across. It's Michigan Cell Block H, I think is the name, or Michigan Report to Hell. Not 100% sure of the name. Michigan, it's Michigan something. Maybe somebody in the comments can let me know, but it sold within a couple of days for $1,000. So very, very similar there, where I would have only paid about $10, and I sold it for $1,000 in a few days. Just madness. I could not believe how rare it was, and it's one of those things, those games that you've never heard of before, the titles, are always the ones to be kind of going with. They always seem to sell the best. David's in. Hey, David. good to see you. Actually, before I do that, Mark, have I... Oh, best sale ever, yeah. So sorry, David. It's funny how niche products sell. I had a bunch of German and French DVDs. German sold fine, French no good. Sometimes it's just luck. You have to find the right buyer. It's so true, David. So true. Can you please put the postcode in the chat? Yep, I can. It is retail $B311. There it is. That's in the chat. Matty, you don't need to be doing these super chats, my man. What have you said here? Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks, mate. For anybody that doesn't know, that's Matt at the flea market that always says to like and subscribe. And he's here on the live right now as well, and he's being very, very generous with some super chats. So thank you for that, mate. I appreciate it. Who else? We've got quite a few people in here, quite a few comments as well, so this is awesome. What would you say the flea market's the best sourcing spots? Yeah, flea markets are, because there's just a range, and there's no thrift stores that are pricing up. It's just random people coming down with random product, and if you know what the product is, you can negotiate some fantastic deals. Would selling 175 cheap DVDs for an estate sale lot be worth it? I spent 67 on the lot. Would selling 175 cheap DVDs from an estate sale be worth it? Well, what do they sell for? We need to do some research. First things first, we pull out the eBay app and we scan them all up and we see what sells for over $20. So I can't tell you whether or not it'd be worth it or not. You've got to do the research and find out. But I would have personally have done a bit of eye scanning when I was looking at that $67 buy and just see if I could see some titles that was going to at least get me that $60 back. Because chances are, out of that lot, you're probably going to only list up about 10% of those 100. You probably have about 18 listings on eBay, and the rest will be junk. It's just the way it works. Greetings from Wyoming. I hope I've pronounced that right, in the US. Love the channel. Congrats on the baby. I have 4 kids, a full-time job, and sell on eBay and TCG Player. It's a juggle, but very manageable. Incredible. Work ethic, determination, sacrifice, consistency, all the words that we know we should be doing that a lot of us aren't doing, and you're clearly doing it. So I commend you on that. Well done. I've been trying to be a full-time eBay seller for the past 15 months. Going really well. 27.5K last year. Averaged $85 in sales. That's fantastic. And 8.5K this year and $71 average. Retro Revival is my store. Are you tracking your numbers with Flipped It? I hope you are, because I would love to know what your profit is out of $8,500 worth of sales this year. You need to know what that profit number is. So if you don't have Flipped It, definitely go and check out Flipped It, because that will help you. That will help you a lot in getting to full time, because you need to know your numbers more than ever if you're going to go to full time. Do you have a sweet spot of items listed at any one time, or just many as you can? Yeah, I've got an absolute sweet spot. $400 a day, $400 per day. Is what I list up, and it's not about number of items, it's about how much money you're putting into the system, because eBay makes 15% off every dollar, so you need to be putting up a certain number of listings each day, and for me it's 400, and it gets me 120,000 a year in sales, and it has for the last 4 years. Do you think the promotion percentage recommendation would differ between countries? No. For instance, eBay itself is typically pre-filling 10% on my listings, which seems fine to me. I would drop that. eBay are going to try and get as much money out of you as possible. So they're going to recommend a much higher percentage than it needs to be. And that to me, oh, it's Boo. Hey, Boo. I think that is you, isn't it, Boo? Over in, where are you, Canada? Yeah, I think it could be less. I think it could be a lot less. Oh, you're in the US. I wonder what the recommended promoted rate is in Australia. Every product is a different promoted percentage recommended rate, but just forego any of that advice from eBay and just literally go with 8 if you're not top rated, 100 sales. And if you are, then bring it down to 3%, no matter what the item is, would be my recommendation. Just wasn't a highly wanted CD, I think, but sure, often we can improve. Yeah, absolutely. We can always learn. We can always learn and improve. I think I can star that. It's in the favorites, guys. I've put it in the favorites. So if you go, I don't know, that's just on my software. I've got the code linked for you for that Band 3 discount. Do you use AI for item description? Absolutely. Hey mate, thanks for the advice and content. Always excited to watch when a new vid's released. A day in the life of a toddler. Amazing that we've got toddlers watching the channel. That's brilliant. Hey Matt, love all of your content and help. Congratulations on being responsible for filling up the extra room. Oh no! Hopefully I'm responsible for you selling it out of that extra room as well. Great value for asking questions about it all. Yeah, keep on selling. Keep on selling. What are the best flea market areas in Brisbane? Mount Gravatt. Mount Gravatt would be the one. Cheesy, if he's still on the live. Cheesy sells there. Just moved from Adelaide. Hope your health is good. Yep, health is well. I've got no complaints. Yeah, it is, Boo. Hey, Boo. Great to have you on the call, mate. Guys, it is 12:12 over here in Australia. We've got one more. Were you a fan of the show Angry Boys? Never really watched it. If I'm honest, never really watched it. But guys, thank you very much for being here. We've still got 76 on the call, which is just fantastic. I do appreciate you jumping on, which was an impromptu live. I've not advertised. You've literally just jumped on because you've seen the notification, and I do appreciate that. So thanks very much, guys. We'll be on again next week. I'm going to try and do it every Wednesday, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, we'll see you soon.